And all I can say is get over your goddamn selves. You aren't that smart. You aren't that well informed, and you're going to have to let the adults talk. Here's my point. This podcast, and I think
yours with Geert.
Mine with Geert.
Mm-hmm.
Our listeners should seek it out, and they should listen to it. And what you will hear are two people who have relevant expertise and insight, having a discussion in which they bend over backwards to make clear why the logic is what it is, right? There's nothing hoaxy about this. Could it be wrong? Sure. Now, I'm very careful in it to say I don't know whether Geert is right, but I do know that he is making sense, right? That is something I am in a position to evaluate. He is making sense. So what do you do with the fact of Facebook deciding to simply search for some claimed expert that disagrees with this and then decide, oh, because there's an expert who disagrees, this is now missing context, or it's a hoax, or it's incorrect, or whatever their conclusion is. The point is that's nonsense. That's not how analysis functions. That's not how we discover what is true. And of course, we are again in the position where if we played this game long enough and we did enough harm by allowing Facebook to decide, how facts are made or whatever it is, then we would ultimately discover that we needed to liberate people to have arguments in which they disagree, and the medium through which they are disagreeing does not intervene and declare these people right and those people unforgivable and whatever it is. We would rediscover the need for things like universities and salons and freedom to advance counterintuitive claims and not suffer a social penalty for it. These are the things that we would rediscover if we ran this experiment to its logical conclusion, and we're not going to get a chance to, because what we are in effect doing is signing over our sense-making capacity to entities like Facebook that don't have the basis to make these kinds of decisions, right? These aren't biologists. And frankly, as a biologist, I can say this is difficult material, right? It's a struggle no matter who you are, no matter how much you know. Nobody knows enough to say this is true and that is false, right? It has to unfold in the form of a discussion in which arguments are advanced and then they are honed as a result of counter arguments. And then we ultimately discover what our best guess as to what's going to happen in this case is. And the idea that Facebook thinks otherwise is frankly insane. And all I can say is get over your goddamn selves. You aren't that smart. You aren't that well informed, and you're going to have to let the adults talk.